After 7 straight losses to the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins have finally taken them down once again. But unlike the previous 2 times, this one was a dominant showing. The final score 30-13. And man, this game kind of had it all in terms of Miami football. It had the really good, it had the really bad. You call a timeout before any time even runs off the clock, making it the earliest timeout called in NFL history. That was the most Dolphin way to start this game. And if it was going based off of just that and that first drive, this game would have been ugly in terms of Miami getting their asses kicked. But instead, they showed resilience. They played hard for McDaniel and Anthony Weaver. The first game without Chris Grier. And the Chris Grier firing was much needed. The trade deadline had a lot of discussions leading up to it for Miami. Who was going to go? Who was going to stay? And Miami ended up only making one move, and that's getting rid of Jalen Phillips, which I understand why they only made one move. I would have liked to see more. But by only making one move, it instilled confidence back into this team, and we saw it on Sunday that why that confidence was important and why they only made one move. This team has a roster that can compete. They just need to actually put it all together to be able to compete, and they did it on Sunday. Tua had the arm punt to begin this game, was not a great start in that opening drive, but the defense forced it 3 and out, and then the offense did what I've been wanting them to do pretty much the entirety of the McDaniel era, and that is commit to the run. The Bills' run defense has been terrible this season, second only to Miami's own run defense. That looked pretty well today. But they depended on Devon Achane, Jalen Wright got a few carries, and Ollie Gordon got at least one carry. But they really focused on beating Buffalo through the ground. And they did exactly that. Devon Achane had an incredible game. Over 200 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 2 icing on the cake touchdowns in this one. And he looked really well. He needs to be a staple of this team for the long haul and the long future. He's up for a contract extension in the offseason. And to me, the first big test for any new GM that Miami brings in is how they handle Devon Achane contract extension. He needs to be a Dolphin for life. He is the main weapon of this offense right now. And he continues week in, week out to have some really good performances. And this is one of those incredible performances on top of everything. The passing game looked fine for the most part. Jalen Waddle had that big touchdown early on in this game, and that was exactly why you don't trade him to Buffalo. And there was some talks going on before the game. And I like that Waddle is here, and he's seemingly going to be the main receiver going forward for this team, including whatever the new GM decides to do going forward. And all around, it was an offensive performance that breathes some confidence. I say some, because there was moments in this game where it looked like they were going to choke it away, because that's what Miami does. After going up 16-0 entering the half, the third quarter was very rough for the offense. They got saved a few times by that defense. The offense needs to be able to get complete games in. You're not going to be able to beat the Bills every time, only putting up 16 points through 3 quarters. You got very lucky that you shut them out through 3 quarters. The defense doing that is really impressive. You got an interception in the end zone on the opening drive of the second half. If that drive ends up in 6 or in any points, frankly, this is probably a completely different game. You forced a fumble on James Cook in the first half. That was also a big-time forced fumble. And then you forced a fumble against Josh Allen on the QB sneak weird play in the fourth. That sealed the game defensively. And it was an all-around performance by the defense that breathed so much more confidence into what this team can be in the future. The defense really went out there and played with a lot of heart. Juju Brents looked great against Keon Coleman in this game. Jack Jones made quite a few big-time plays. Micah Fitzpatrick made big-time plays. Everyone on the defense at some point was making a play that led to us shutting out Buffalo through 3 quarters. That was the main reason they got the win. Run defense played great. Passing defense played fine, but you're going against Josh Allen. He's going to have some really rough moments. Couldn't get a lot of pressure. Allen had about 3.5 seconds to throw. Not great. But again, it's something you will take considering you got the win, but things to work on going forward into the future. I know Dolphins fans probably won't like that I'm about to say this, but Miami's remaining schedule of the season is not the toughest. They could easily win out if they get the right teams at the right moments. They have Washington next week in Madrid, and then they have their bye week. After that, it is the Saints, the Jets, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Buccaneers, and the Patriots. The three toughest matchups there are the Steelers, the Buccaneers, and the Patriots. You, in theory, can beat the Patriots again. You nearly beat them in week 2, and it came down to special teams that you completely blew in that one. Tampa's been looking rough, and the Steelers have been looking really tough, especially offensively. There is a world where Miami can run the table here. Now, of course, if you want that to happen or not, different story. But there is a world where that is a possibility because they're getting these teams late in the season when they're not looking great. Of course, we'll see how these teams look specifically entering those weeks and also on Sunday when we play them. But this is a Dolphins team that's going to be playing with a lot of fight this back half of the season. We saw that on Sunday. You got a massive win that most likely keeps McDaniel in Miami for at least another full season and keeps Tua in Miami for at least another full season because that's the end goal. The end goal is to be able to compete consistently with Buffalo and ideally split the series somewhat consistently the same way you were able to with New England for the most part of Tom Brady's tenure. With all that being said, this was a relatively, more off the cuff post game. I'm recording this the day after because I have friends over on Sunday, and that's why I wasn't live with the game. This is the one Dolphin game all year I'm going to be missing, and happens to be one of the best ones they have had. But thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you all next time. Have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.